years ago, the Alice Mill was destroyed by a fire. Really, it marked the end of really what I call a Woonsocket monument, a landmark. So to see it go down in flames, I think, was sad for the community, but people will always remember that it did its share during World War II.
Built in 1889, the Alice Mill was once the largest rubber mill in the world. U.S. Rubber employed more than 1,000 people there until hard times forced the mill to close its doors during the Great Depression.
It had closed during the Depression of the 30s, but by 1940-41, it reopened and really was a definite contributor to the war effort on the home front.
During World War II, the mill turned out products for the military. This included emergency life rafts and life-saving equipment used by Navy pilots when they had to splash down. Workers in Woonsocket also made the giant barrage balloons that held up steel cables to prevent low-flying planes from attacking military installations or convoys of ships at sea.
One of our GIs, actually he was a sailor from Woonsocket, was a coxswain on a Higgins boat, and as he landed the troops at Normandy, he noticed that a lot of the ships were being protected by barrage balloons, and he even noticed the word Woonsocket on some of them. Those barrage balloons went to war, and they were produced right here in Woonsocket, Rhode Island.
With the men heading off to war, women had to pick up the tools to get the job done.
We didn't have Rosie the riveter, but we had Jocelyn the rubber worker. There were even ads placed in the Woonsocket Call and papers like the Call that said we need girls between the ages of 16 and 40 to help with the war effort at the rubber shop.
One of those answering the call was a 16-year-old high school student named Teresa Ricard, who worked part-time at the U.S. Rubber Annex. What she remembers most clearly, more than 70 years later, is the smell.
It stunk. And so did your clothes. When you come out of there, you strip, throw them in the washer. All your clothes smell that rubberish thing.
And what did she get?
Oh, a whole 49 cents an hour.
U.S. Rubber proudly showcased the products it was making for the war effort in its newsletter, The Flyer. An array of pictures displayed the company's output. But there was a blank space at the bottom of one page. That, said the newsletter, was for items that couldn't be photographed or talked about. What was U.S. Rubber making in Woonsocket that was so secret?
They were making inflatable tanks and trucks and artillery pieces for use by a top-secret military deception unit.
Teresa Ricard and the other women making the dummies were kept in the dark about what the inflatables were for.
They were told they were going to be used as targets.
The only name I knew was targets.
So the assumption was that these were going to be targets that were going to be used for gunnery practice. They had no idea that these were going to be shipped to Europe and were going to play a key role in the war effort.
The decoys weren't just made in Woonsocket, they were designed here as well.
Fred Patton was the development manager at the Alice Mill. He had designed the life raft that they made. He designed other products. And the Army called on him to design the inflatable tanks and trucks that the Alice Mill was going to make. And so not only did he design the ones that were made in Woonsocket, but that design was used by other plants all around the country, and he coordinated that effort.
Woonsocket's secret didn't come out until many years after the war was over. Today, it is another reason to be proud of the way the city contributed to the war effort.
It's a really important part of Woonsocket's history, and it's a really important part of the Ghost Army's history. It's a really special connection between Woonsocket and this military deception unit that operated in Europe.
The guys needed them, we did them.
I'm always very proud to say that Woonsocket, especially during World War II, had a great role in winning the war.